Was kann man lieben Freunde, Reino Lee und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einem neuen Projekt. Der Haus in Fata Morgana, A Requiem for Innocence. Die Prequel, Freunde. Und ich bin nicht ganz sicher, wie ich das hole, Freunde, werden wir dann sehen. Aber auf jeden Fall spielen wir zuerst die Sub-Stories und dann die A Requiem for Innocence, wie man hier sehen kann, weil das anscheinend so
Besser vom Flow ist.
ja, besser vom Flow oder so. Falls nicht ist, dann wer auch immer das gepostet hat, find him, kill him. Dann würde ich sagen, wahrscheinlich bei der
Jugend.
Let's go. Achso, und welches von denen jetzt zuerst?
Ich glaube, es ist egal. Obwohl.
Frag mal kurz, Krog. Also Happily Ever After, das hört sich an nach Tor 3, 8. Und die hier, keine Ahnung.
Geh mal zurück, brauchst du gerade auf Tipps?
Das ist Substories. Episode.
Ich glaube, Happy Ever After ist so das, was ich gesagt habe, ist so 40 Minuten mäßig. Und das Assento Dele und Tales Wasted Away in Obscurity ist so die Extra Stories oder so.
Ja. Okay, Zuschauer, wieder Freunde, wir machen jetzt Assento Dele.
Nein, Assento Dele.
I think we made pretty good friends, don't you? Those were his last words before disappearing into darkness. The time together was brief, and they knew nearly nothing of each other, so they couldn't be called friends at all. Hab ich doch geschafft.
Ja.
Oh, dort jemand! Oh mein Gott!
Was?
Mit der Diebstahl. 7 die Gold. Apropos Doors, wir können auch so Door-Ranking machen, so kurze Video, falls es sowas gibt. Oder wenn ich dann selber halt, ne? Ah! Welcome back, Didier. I've missed you.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
What a pleasant welcome this is. You didn't have to come all this way out here to meet me though.
Das fand der Karte sich irgendwie anders an. I haven't seen you in so long. The waiting inside is so dreary.
Haha, what a wonderful sister I've been blessed with. You best be careful though, the sun is quite strong today. Mother would throw a fit if she knew you were out here in this weather.
Do not worry, I heard from a servant you would be back around now, so I haven't been out terribly long. And I know you're not one to be tired either, Didier. I took all the necessary precautions.
Well, curses. Now I'll have to be absolutely certain nothing delays my next return.
Yes, indeed you will.
Haha. Well, since you're here, would you like to ride back with me?
On your horse? I would love to, but I came on horseback as well. She's tied to the tree over there.
Unlike your brothers, your horse is smart enough to follow you back.
Ah, alright, then I suppose I shall. How was your expedition, Didier? Expedition! Hinter die Mauern.
More of the usual. Just patrols, really. No engagements to speak of.
Quiet is never a bad thing.
I'm not sure if I'd say never.
Do you think something might happen?
No. Nothing you need concern yourself with, at least.
If you say so. Oh yes, Mom. Mother said she had something important to tell you and to see her as soon as you arrived.
Now that I do not like the sound of.
I can hardly blame you. Mother has something important to tell you, are the last words anyone wants to hear.
Ha 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 ha. You've gotten feisty now, have you? Didn't you?
Don't tell her I said that.
I wouldn't dream of selling out my beautiful baby sister. Ja, am Ende wissen wir ja, wer hier Michael getötet hat.
Ja, aber Sellout hat die Mutter gemacht.
Ja, genau. In fact, I beg you not to say anything of the sort to her either. She can be a bit easy to set off.
If anyone, I think Georges would need that warning most.
You're on fire today, Michael. And there she is. The world-renowned castle, Bollinger, and our beloved home.
I'm not a child anymore, Didier. I know our estate is not nearly as large or impressive as a castle.
You used to laugh when I called it that.
I also used to not be 13.
13 is still plenty a child. Now hold on tight. We're going to gallop the rest of the way. Yeah!
What? Wait, slow down, Didier.
Try not to fall.
Good day, Sir Didier.
Thank you. Everyone looks well. Where's my father?
Lord Bum is out on a personal business. Business.
Yeah.
He should be returning tomorrow.
Thanks. Guess I just missed him. Well then, I should see what mother... What was that noise?
Ah, that would be George's.
Oh, I didn't realize he was going to be home.
Shall we check in on him? No, just won't do it all. Needs more wild innovation and fuel passion and subtle beauty, meshed with a squeeze of delicate eroticism that doesn't undermine the impact of the piece as a whole. It has to be like a good kick to the marbles. The blick.
Has he finally lost his marbles?
Holy fuck! Nee, leider nicht. Holy heck. Well, look who it is. I didn't know you were back, D. And you know, it's uncouth to barge in on someone without knocking. He knocked several times and called out to you through the door. I must say though, Georges, it is much more uncouth to take out your frustration on inanimate objects. Oh, you're there too, Michael. I couldn't see you in the shadow of this hulking barbarian. You really are a teeny tiny little guile, aren't you? Mother will not be pleased when she sees the mess you've made of the room. Oh ho ho ho, my dear Michael. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. True art is only born in the fires of pandemonium. Is that so? You could at least pretend to care.
So, would you care to explain this pandemonium?
Oh, you wanna know? You wanna know all about the masterpiece buried in that wellspring of inspiration? You'll never be able to turn back once you know. But if you're really sure, I can give you all the juicy deeds.
I don't care that much, no. Shall we see what mother needs to talk about, Michael?
Yes, let's. Hey, wait! Have you no hearts, you Philistines? You're supposed to grab me by the shoulders and back to hear what all the fuss is about.
If it'll make you stop shouting, fine. Give me the short version.
Blah. So much for brotherly love. So the royal family is planning and construction a new chateau in the city, and guess who the king himself asked to do all the paintings for it? Why, moi, of course, the great artiste Georges Bullinger.
Is that so?
What is wrong with you two? This is huge. It's huge and huge.
I would wager His Majesty did not, in fact, come within 1,000 meters of you.
Ha ha ha. Life is not fun if you limit yourself to only the truth. I somewhat doubt you're in charge of all the art either. Ha 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 ha.
So in other words, there's almost no truth to your claims.
Hey, I really was commissioned to do a piece for the new chateau.
And this disaster area is all you have to show for it.
Yep. And I don't know what to do. It's a chance for me to make it into the big leagues. I've got to paint something that goes down in history as one of the great works of our time. Perhaps it would be better if you didn't put as much pressure on yourself. You do much better work when you're relaxed. You're brilliant, Michael. Let's go out on the town and let loose, just the three of us. It's exactly what I need right now.
Barely had time to sit down since I got back.
Ah,
Sometimes I think there might be no hope for the three of you. Not even a word to your dear mother? Good day, mother. My apologies. I meant to see you as soon as I returned, but...
Crap, Mom's gonna flip her lid. We'd better get out of here before she brings her wrath down on us, Michael. But...
Georges! I heard every last word.
What big ears you have. Damit ich dich besser hören kann.
Can't you repeat that?
What big ears you have. Repeat what, my beautiful mother?
I swear, young man. So how did your expedition go? Did you run into any trouble? No, it proceeded without issue, thank you. Everyone returned safely, by the grace of God. That's wonderful to hear.
That's so wie Mickey Mouse. Hallo Leute! Ja. Und Mickey Mouse bei South, aber so lustig so, du kleines Arschloch! Ja. So, weißt du? Das ist so echt lange, Digga.
Okay,
aber nur die beleidigen.
Okay.
Haben die den Voice Actor dafür gut? Ich weiß nicht.
Nein.
Aber hat sich so angehört.
Obwohl, auch so auf Deutsch. Nee. Nee, sie redet gerade. I prayed for you every day, and it seemed he heeded me. I want you to know I've quite missed you, even if Georges and Michel robbed me of the chance to tell you first. I'm deeply relieved to have you back in perfect health. There's no need to be dramatic, mother.
Ja, Drama Queen.
I was never in any danger of not returning. Nonetheless, I too am. And there's no need for you to be so stiff around your mother. Sorry, it's good to be home, Mom. That's more like it. Welcome home, my darling boy.
Yeesh, just look at him go, a grown man fawning over his mother like a little boy. Make sure you give him crap about it later, Michael. But...
You really need to learn to whisper more quietly.
Yeah, ich wonder who you inherited those ears from.
I swear you... So, Mother, Michel tells me you have something important you want to speak with me about. Ah, yes, that I do. I'm sure you'd like to rest after your trip, but would you come to my chambers for a bit first? Certainly.
Oh, what's this? Can I come too?
This is my business. Why should you be allowed to stick your nose into it?
Because it sounds like fun. Maybe a little help give my music a nice kick in the rump.
Wir dachten ja immer, er hat weiße Haare, gell? Die
Ja,
aber
aber-
blonde einfach.
Ja.
I guess macht mehrere Sinn von der Timeline.
Genau, es gibt ja auch irgendwelche Leute, die einfach so weiße Haare haben als
Mit 40 oder so, ja.
genetisch und mäßig. Das hat der Michel.
Ja, das auch, aber ich dachte irgendwie, er ist so alt.
Der sieht ja auch alt aus mit dem
Ja.
Bart.
Egal. It's not a private matter, so I don't mind. In fact, maybe it would be better if you were there too, Georges.
Heck yeah! You coming along too, Michel? Why would I?
Oh, what am I going to do with you three? What do you think? Of the painting? It's a fine piece, clearly not made by Georges.
Ada. I would have done 10 times better there. Was? Also. Who's the heck responsible for that rubbish? So sagt die Mutter.
Quiet, boy.
Oder wer sonst? Sniffle. Does George have a disease where he'll die if eaten running his mouth every waking moment or something?
No, not the painting itself. The girl in the painting. She's prettier, I suppose. Do you like her? In what sense, mother? Where are you going with this? This girl is the daughter of the Chastinier estate to the south of us.
Achso, der hat so ein Bild malen lassen
Ja.
und. Ja, crazy.
Oh, ja, genau, schau mal. Or what she will look like a few years from now.
Ja, moin, das weiß man ja nicht.
In a few years? Then she's still a child. Yes, she is, yes. And the family is trying to complete arrangements for her marriage as early as possible. Her marriage. The
Oh nein, sag mir nicht, es ist Aimee, die Schlampe.
Oh. I guess. The Castagnas are a respectable family with lots of land. We have plenty to gain from this arrangement. All you need to do is say, Mother, as I have told you on several occasions, my body and soul belong to the church. I will neither succeed father nor take a wife. And you're firm in your decision? Yes, I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's very disappointing indeed. I would be so much more comfortable with you taking over the house. Well, what about you, Georges? Do you have any interest in her?
Bleh, I don't know, not really feeling it.
Now, Georges, you do realize that Didier not becoming head means that you will be, right? So you can't make a decision like this, which will affect the future of both of our houses for generations, because you're not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it. That's easy for you to say, Ma, but I can't change what appeals to me. It'd all be for nothing if we couldn't hit it off and never had any kids.
And tell me, what is there not to like about her? Fragt sie, nachdem sie ein Painting von ihr gezeigt hat,
Ja, vor
was
allem-
in der Zukunft aussehen.
Den könnte.
Ja. Auch so Paintings sind ja nie so die Darstellung der Wirklichkeit. 100%. She's a beautiful young lady.
She's pretty sure, but I'm getting nasty vibes from that picture.
George hat von Anfang an die Vibes gespürt. Er hätte da schon
Ja.
sein sollen, ja.
Also ich denke mal, es ist Aimee.
Ja, muss schon sein.
Yeah, bitch, yeah. Looks like a real sour puss. I want someone more, cherry if I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life with her. I wouldn't go as far as him, but there is something about her that doesn't sit right with me. I'm not sure how to put it into words though.
She's a fucking psychopath. She just looks that way in the painting.
Genau.
I'm certain you'll find her to be a lovely girl when you meet her.
Ah! Sorry. How can you be so sure? You haven't even seen it for yourself. Oh, Digga, mein Fuß ist gerade eingepennt. Ah! Töte mich. Anyway, not interested in that's that.
Such a wonderful offer too.
Once I'm sworn. Sag mal Swan oder Swan?
One.
Once I'm sworn enemy in as official court artist, I'll be up to my ears in a marriage offer, something in Bell will come along. I promise.
I'm afraid with your attitude, this may be the last offer we ever see.
Don't you worry. We've got ourselves a proud knight of the order, the most sought after artist in the land, and a brilliant, beautiful princess. If that's not a recipe for success, I don't know what is.
Oh, Georges.
Shut the hell up.
Is something trouble you, Michi?
Ja, mein Fuß ist absolut tot, ist eingeschlafen, ich kann nicht mehr. Wow, oh no, nothing.
Wollen wir kurz Pause machen?
My wife was wondering, that's all. Ich kann nicht bewegen, Digga.
Ja, Pause. Ja, mach ihn auf.
Digga.
Yeah.
See, look what you did, Mom. You upset Michael by being such a very bad.
Throwing me to the wolves, are you, my boy? Oh dear, Michel. I'm just being cautious about our future.
Stealing them blind.
I'm not as worried as I may have sounded.
Digga, man.
I have the three most wonderful children in the world. We couldn't be more blessed. We're strong. And together, we're even stronger. I have no doubt, in my mind, we'll thrive and grow for generations to come.
Yeah. We'll all be together forever. Weiß ich ja nicht. Also stimmt, er hat geträumt, I guess. For a brief moment after waking, seeing only darkness, I forgot where I was. As my eyes adjusted and the world faded into view, cool.
After a dream.
A faint sense of disappointment swelled up in my breast. That was over a decade ago. A life I no longer had. Ja, das hinter Michel, nicht Michel.
Kannst du übersehen.
And in fact, a life I couldn't be certain I ever had. For all I knew, my mind could have fabricated the entire thing. But in short order, the wave of sentimentality receded. A few years earlier, that yearning for bygone days would leave my heart in tatters, but now I had grown largely numb to it. But this was the best life I knew best. This was the life I knew best. I wasn't a 13-year-old child anymore. Nor was I a girl. Nor was I a member of the Bollinger family. I was a demon, most frightful exiled to a remote mansion. Whoops. Oh, ASSENTO DELE, his dark throne.
Kill the accursed thing.
Töte ihn, töte ihn. Those were the first words uttered by the witch upon my discovering the being lying in a heap outside the front door. The witch had haunted me ever since the day I resurrected her at the top of the mansion's observation tower a few years earlier. At first, her constant whispering in my ear had been insufferable, driving me to my wit's end. I did everything I could think of to deny her existence and push her out of my life, but that too had passed. I had been drained of all will to fight against her, or frankly feel anything at all. No joy, no anger, no frustration, no sorrow. Perhaps that could be said to mean she had defeated me, but in retrospect, the witch causing me to encase my heart in stone had consequently kept me from being miserable every time I received a letter from my mother. It made me think getting worked up over some stupid words on scraps of paper was a waste of time and energy. So while I wasn't at the point of gleefully cozying up to her, It was true that her presence had made my life easier.
I can't stand the sight of it. It's utterly dreadful.
The witch wanted me to kill them, but instead I crouched down to get a better look. They seemed to be dead already. It appeared someone had died on my doorstep. Because of the way they were clothed, I couldn't make anything out beyond that at a distance.
It's faint, but they're still breathing. Look, you can see their chest moving.
I'm surprised she noticed. I can barely tell from up close. I reached my hand out to roll them over, at which point the witch gave me an exaggerated sigh. Good, okay, good.
I wouldn't recommend touching them. They're diseased. That's why they look like human raisin.
Raisin?
Yeah.
That must be the raisin I gave you.
How are you feeling, Brock?
Okay. There was indeed one way to describe them. What had first come to mind for me, though, was something I had read in a book about how desert cultures would mummify their dead. The person on the ground looked like what I imagined a mummy did. Though I was under the impression mummification was performed in order to preserve the bodies of high-ranking individuals. Which is to say, you weren't likely to find one collapse on your doorstep. Ignoring Morgana's warning, I put my hand on their arm. It twitched and they let out a groan.
Just a swift stab through the heart, and they won't have to suffer any longer.
The person didn't seem to have enough strength to sit up, barely enough to hold on to their last vestiges of life. Their fingers continued to twitch, but it didn't seem deliberate. The tall grass in which they were lying seemed to want to swallow them up.
Do it, my dear. Send that poor soul to heaven by whatever means you please. Or perhaps they'll end up in hell.
They're not long for this world, with or without my help. Aber ich hatte auch bei Kalender, als ich vorhin geschaut habe, bei unserer Seite so, habe ich nicht Lazarus gesehen. Also vielleicht gibt es nur mit Actuality.
Oh.
Mal schauen.
And who's going to have to deal with the rotting corpse in a few weeks if you just let them here? You just leave them there?
Jetzt ist dieser Typ draußen. Next month's delivery boy, presumably.
Imagine the look on his face when he finds it. Imagine what he'll tell your family when he returns. It would make everyone's life easier if you just killed them here.
Er hat ja mal erzählt, dass da auch Leute begraben liegen. Also wahrscheinlich hat er ihn hinten in dem Backyard.
Bury them somewhere nearby. Let them nourish the earth with their flesh. If there's any nourishment left to be squeezed from them, that is. Or you could try luring some animals here. Come on. There wouldn't be a trace of gore to clean up if you let a couple wolves at them. And they'd get a nice meal out of it, so everyone wins.
I can't imagine they'd find much to enjoy on this pile of bones.
How cold.
You have no room to talk. You're clearly enjoying yourself.
My. What would ever make you think that?
There's been nothing to entertain you recently. I certainly haven't been talking much. Nothing of note has happened. I can tell you've been bored.
A few quiet weeks hardly counts as boredom compared to the years I spent in slumber.
If you say so. Brushing the witch's distractions aside, I put my hand back to the vagrant's arm and flipped him over so I could get a better look. They were much lighter than I had expected. Their arm was a little more than flesh and bone, and their flesh felt like leather. I couldn't guess their age or even gender. They were dressed in unadorned brown robes and a cowl. One thing stood out about their dress, though: their mask. And when I removed the mask, I was greeted with torn, wrinkled flesh and eyes so sunken it was disquieting. I wasn't sure what I saw beneath it could even be called a face. Bandages covered the head from the nose down, and what hid beneath them was in even worse condition. Fata Morgana. I couldn't tell where their nose ended and their cheeks began, and their lips had curled back into their mouth, turning it into a gaping gash. Even as close as I was, I could barely make out the sound of their breathing. They almost certainly wouldn't survive much longer.
Good heavens.
As I thought the witch might find some compassion in her heart for the dying vagrant.
Get rid of that filthy thing.
I was immediately proven wrong. Her tone of voice was like that of someone who had found rotten food in her
Rotten flesh.
in her pantry while looking for something to eat.
As I said, they're the least. You should stay away unless you want to end up like that. Your legs too frail to hold you up. Your body withered, and your eyes sunk in worthless orbs. It's highly infectious.
I largely ignored the witch's whispers. Whisperings. She liked toying with me, so I couldn't take what she said at face value. She was more than happy to lie or exaggerate for the sake of tormenting me. There was no guarantee the ailment was contagious at all.
So just hurry and get rid of. Are you listening to me?
I hoisted the vagrant onto my back. My bag! A simple task even for me. Perhaps the least fit man in the world. They were smaller than me, but not child-sized. It was like I was carrying an empty sack of skin. This will give you something to stave off your boredom.
I told you, I am not bored. Heavens, I never took you for the kind of raving lunatic who helps strangers.
I wasn't bringing them in out of the goodness of my heart. They simply piqued my curiosity. There was something oddly amusing about the whole twisted situation. A witch, a demon child, and a living mummy. And what better place to gather them all together than a cursed mansion? I also think that some part of me wanted to see and feel death up close. Fragezeichen? Ich guess diese Person wacht auf.
What's going on? I can't see a thing. Have my eyes finally started going? And I was so close to that mansion. But I guess this is the end of the line for me. Wait, no. I still have my vision? It's just dark as hell. Where in the world am I? I'm on the bed.
Good morning.
And who the hell is that? What's going on? I don't.
I don't know this guy.
But maybe.
Can you not speak?
No, I can talk, but it hurts. I'm just a little started.
By what?
The angels that come to meet me at the gates. He doesn't seem to have taken that one well.
The man sitting there was a curious specimen. And yeah, I know. Hot meat kettle. It appeared almost as if he was part of the surrounding dark. Nee, das sagt dieser Dude. Oder Girl.
Ich sag das.
Diese Mumie sagt das.
Okay, it appeared almost as if he was part of the surrounding darkness. an ethereal being that might vanish when explained. Not human, but merely something taking its form. So the more I looked at him, the more it seemed like, rather than him being a part of the darkness instead radiated from him, which is probably where the angel bit had come from.
This isn't the afterlife.
No, I guess it isn't.
If this were heaven, I wouldn't feel like death, and there'd be at least a dozen half-naked ladies hanging over me. But I hurt like hell, so I must still be alive. Haha. Reality's a bitch, huh? That said, though, I feel like I'd get on a lot better with a stony-faced angel like him than what they'd usually advertise.
This is a bit so long as I get
yeah.
The sack of bones in the bed had a voice like dry leaves scraping against one another. While carrying them to the room, I noticed several of their joints seemed to bend in ways they shouldn't, so I thought they might be on the older side. But upon close inspection, that didn't appear to be the case. The way they talk makes them sound young too. I'm going to guess a man? Early 20s, maybe?
If you're not an angel, then you must be a witch.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just kidding. Don't bite my head off. You don't look anything like a witch.
He's not as far off the mark as he thinks. But he doesn't need to know about my childhood.
So hey, would you mind sparing a little bit of water?
Yes, I would mind.
My throat hurts like 12 kinds of hell. And I'm sure you'd appreciate being able to understand me better.
There's some right there.
Huh? Oh, you already got some for me. Thanks, I can't unbend my damn arm. You mind grabbing that for me?
Did no one ever teach you how to say please?
Oh, lighten up, would ya? Show a dying fella some pity.
Maybe he wouldn't have died if I'd left him out there. He's much fastier than I expected. In fact, he's nothing at all like I imagined. When he was still lying half dead on the ground outside my door, there was a mystique about him. As a mummy, he was interesting, which gave him inherent value. But now that he was awake and talking, he was now a normal human. Almost excessively so. I reluctantly picked up the goblet and handed it to him, watching as he pulled down the wrapping covering his mouth to drink.
Oh, han hört också sonst.
Ja, fan, stay hydrated, huh? Oh, guy. So, it seemed like he wanted to down the whole thing in one go. But judging from the groans I heard, his body wasn't cooperating. Dun, 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 dun. So, oops. A few years earlier, I may have sympathized with him, but not now. All I felt now was curiosity. What was this sick man doing in front of my mansion? What brings you here?
Can't you at least let me drink in peace? Let me tell you something, Aspen. Let me tell you, man, I'm in no shape to be multitasking. It takes all my attention just to drink a glass of water. Plus, it's darker than hell in here. I can barely see what I'm doing.
You're free to leave if you're not happy here.
Once I'm through with this water and I have had a chance to rest and maybe a complimentary glass of wine on top of that to raise my spirits, I'll be out, right out.
What a present for a guest.
Oh, I'm a guest now, am I? I thought I was just a subject for your observation. Haha, hit the nail on the head.
Are you implying that means you should have free reign here?
Sure am. You stop worrying about a lot of things when you're on the verge of death. What's the worst thing that happens if I piss you off? You kill me? All that means is I lose a few days. No real risk in acting like I own the place. Not a bad deal if I do say so myself.
You certainly are lively
No, not sure. Lively.
and talkative for someone on the verge of death.
I did just have a hefty helping of the elixir of life.
Ja, von immer schön Elixier farmen. I sighed to myself. Das war auch am Anfang von Morgana, da war das richtig oft. Oder bei Steins Gate und dann habe ich so mal verpackt, was heißt das? I taken in quite a high maintenance specimen, it seemed. There wasn't going to be much worth observing when he was full of such vitality and his lips never stopped flapping. He was exactly the kind of person I could at least stand to be around. I could practically hear the witch saying, "See, what did I tell you?" So,
See, what did I tell you? You should have just listened to me and not wasted your time and energy.
which only made the whole thing that much worse. But curiously, I couldn't feel her presence, even though she was seemingly always around. Maybe she was afraid she might catch whatever disease this man had. Can spirits even get sick? Never mind her. I have more important things to deal with. Like how to get this man out of my house. No, man, no, my ass!
Anyway, you were asking what I was doing here. Well, I was looking for something. And that search... Back up a sec. What is this place anyway? Sure doesn't look like a tiny little one-man shack. Not that I can see much in this dark, but these furnishings don't look cheap.
It's a mansion.
Yours?
Half of it, roughly.
So what, you live with someone?
In a sense.
Stimmt. Oh. Die mysteriöse Antworten. No, I don't want to sound rude, but...
Well, we're well past rude at this point. Go on.
Aha. Already making friends. So I'm curious. There wouldn't happen to be any rumor about this place, would there?
Such as?
Like, say, a cursed witch dwells within its halls.
Oh, for the love of... That's what he was searching for?
Hell yeah, I'll take that sigh as a yes. Excellent. Fantastic! I was heading in the right direction. Let me stay here for a little, please!
Are you out of your mind?
I have a favor to ask the witch. That's the whole reason I came here.
I don't know this guy. I know what you've heard, but the witch isn't one to go around doing people favors. Whatever your wish is, it won't be granted here.
Hey, you never know. There's a first time for everything.
And I doubt this is it. Why is he so fixated on the witch anyway? Wahrscheinlich will er sich wünschen, länger zu leben, I guess. The witch of a legend was said to be cursed. She was spoken of around these parts only in whispers, and people stayed away from the mansion for fear of provoking her wrath. Her curse had destroyed an entire city, it was said. I had no way of knowing whether that much was true or not, but I did know that the witch was real. I can figure out how someone could hear the rumors about the witch and decide, I'm going to ask her for a favor. It's beyond ludicrous.
Ludicrous. Well, now that that's out of the way, thanks for the hospitality, buddy.
So stop right there. I never said you could stay.
Anything I could do to change that?
Not a thing.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this, but you left me no choice. I'm staying here with or without your permission.
What the hell makes you think you have the right? Oh yeah.
I'll happily comply with whatever the head honcho here decides. But remember, you said the mansion was only half yours. So until there's a unanimous agreement to boot me from everyone with a stake in the property, I'm sticking around. No Morgana, so.
This little weasel.
It won't just be straight up leash though, don't you worry. If you need help with anything, chores, whatever, just give me a shout. Ah, Lehman? But to do that, I guess you need to know what to shout, huh? The name's Lemion. Pleasure to meet you. Oder Imion?
Ja, ich denke schon.
Imion. Ich bin mal schauen, wie das so ausgesprochen wird, falls. Imion. Pleasure to meet you. Hey now, give me the silent treatment. Is that how you're gonna play this? Flat pretending I don't exist?
No. My mind just froze up for a moment. It looks as if he's serious about staying. Which is a problem even setting aside the witch situation. The more contact I have with anyone, the greater risk there is that word of my survival finds its way out.
Stimmt. Am Ende hat er ihn so gekillt.
Ja.
No.
Ich schieb dir ein paar Tagen.
No, what?
That said, he isn't long for this world.
No.
This vigor won't last, that much is certain. In fact, it might be smart to keep an eye on him. Make sure he's dead before he has a chance to tell anyone about me.
Hello! Need help finding a way out of your thoughts, buddy?
Death will find you long before the witch does, I'm sure.
Yeesh! That's the first thing that comes out of your mouth. I've braced myself for that outcome already. But following the logic of that zinger, it sounds like you're already your proposal. Yeah. Sounds like you're giving me your approval of my stay.
Resigning myself to it may be a better way to put it.
Ah, it's all the same to me. So tell me, what's your name anyway? Unless you want me to stick with calling you an angel, or the witch's right hand, that is.
I'm neither of those things, thank you very much.
So, what should I call you?
Michel.
Michel. Derived from the name of the Archangel Michael.
Das ist eigentlich nicht schlau, so seinen Namen wirklich hier zu droppen. Wenn er vor allem nicht will, dass irgendwie ein Word rauskommt, dass er überlebt hat. Weil vielleicht Michel.
Er meinte, stimmt er hat ihn
ist schon klar, aber was weiß, er könnte jetzt auch einfach durchziehen, theoretisch.
Ja, okay, dann soll er, was soll er dann sagen? Ja, ich heiße Georges. What was that about you not being an angel again?
I've wanted to strangle someone this badly in a long time. And we murdered this boy.
And what exactly do you think you do?
The witch spoke almost as soon as I stepped into my chambers. I could hear her voice right in my ear. I could hear her voice right in my ear, as if she were standing beside me. Herren, which was especially jarring as she had been completely absent during my conversation with Emian. She seemed to know what we had talked about, though, assumed she had been spectating from a safe distance. What do you mean?
You're hardly the type to take in poor, wandering souls on a whim.
You're right. I should have asked you first. This is your house, after all.
Half mine, you mean? Hey, I should be thankful you let me have half of it. But you are the master of this house, and I
Go on.
was never master. So I have no say in who you choose to let stay here. But you will
heckle me about it.
Of course. I need my entertainment too. So what are you going to do about, whatever his name was?
Das ist literally 5 Minuten her. Emian.
Right, that. I was hoping you would chase that dreadful thing out.
He says he has business with you. I guess sie hatet Emian so, weil Emian sich an sich selbst erinnert, wie er aussieht.
Does he now?
So you weren't listening in on the whole thing?
I'd be more than happy to hover over you every waking moment, if that's what you prefer.
I'd rather you didn't.
Hey, as you can see, I respect your personal space. Hat sie nicht die ganze Zeit so zugelabert oder war das bei Giselle?
Ja, beide.
Beide. It wouldn't hurt you to show a bit of gratitude sometimes. So what does that man want with me?
Not a clue. All he said is he wanted to ask the witch a favor.
A favor?
Indeed.
Hey, what a farce.
What arse. I agree, you would never grant a wish of her.
No, not that. That you happily passed on a stranger's request, but vehemently refused to make your own of me. The offer still stands, my dear. Just say the word. Say the word! And I'll put a curse on your entire family.
I've told you repeatedly that I'm not going to ask you to do that.
Obstinate as ever, I see.
Anyway, I never asked you to grant his wish. I only conveyed to you that he had to me.
That he had one.
That he had one. He'll be dead in short order regardless.
A week or two at most. How tragic of him. Betting in the last remnants of his life on the legend of the cursed witch, only to be dealt a pair of heartless jokers. In all likelihood, he just wants me to cure whatever disease he has.
Why would a witch who deals in curses cure diseases anyway?
No. It's not polite to judge someone by their appearance, my dear.
Are you saying you can do it?
Maybe, maybe not. Regardless, there's but one thing the two of us can do for him. Watch as the poor wretch's life slips away alone in the dark.
Wenn der Mond ist, dann ist so Emian.
Christ. Shouldn't be this exhausting to just walk down the hall. I'd sure love to get a little more light in the here. Might make moving around easier. Nah, this is fine. No light means I don't have to worry about how monstrous I look. This face is like a curse in itself. Okay, so the only places I haven't seen yet are this room and Michel's room. And he's made very clear he didn't want me anywhere near the room, so in practice that makes this the last one. Here goes. Damn. A huge stained glass window sat at the back of the chamber. The archangel within casted a faint light across the room. The light almost burned my eyes, which were still clamped to the darkness. Ah! It felt almost like I was in the presence of an actual divine being. So we've got a guy named after an angel and a stained glass window of an archangel. Whoever called this place cursed didn't look very hard, I guess. This is closest to a damn temple, if anything. As I approached the source of the light, the shape of the room came into view.
View after dream.
Rows of pews, pulpit, and a cross. Looked like I was right on the money. I was in a chapel. Or the remains of one, anyway. The wooden pews had rotted to the point of uselessness, and the floor was peeling all over the place. It was like an abandoned shrine to a saint, hidden away in the dark corners of the mansion. Fascinating. The worst of it's been mended, but you can still see marks on the wall where it looks like it's been struck with a wood or sword or something. Did a battle take place here? There's splotches of black on the floor. Bloodstains, maybe? There's something on the pulpit too. Ah, my mask. I figured you threw it out. Ah, so Michel isn't all cold and heartless after all. Or maybe he just didn't feel like going outside. Who knows? Either way, I'll happily take it back. He's already seen my face, so it doesn't change much. But I feel better covering it up anyway. My disease was highly stigmatized and said to be just as infectious. Not only was it obvious from my appearance, I was also required to carry around the bell to alert others to my presence. I lost that while wandering through the forest, but up until then, whenever I went into a town or city, I had to ring the bell as I walked. And surprise, surprise, it invited all sorts of dirty looks and people scrambling to get away from me. Churches would sometimes offer me aid, but that was a once-in-a-blue moon occurrence. Effectively, I'd been through nothing but hell up until now. I hadn't done a damn thing, and yet they treated me like a murderer. In fact, I'd almost bet a criminal didn't get half the crap I did. Just thinking about it killed my mood.
Wann ist immer so ein blauer Mond?
Was?
Wann ist immer so ein blauer Mond?
Das ist so eine Rede.
Ah, der blaue Mond ist immer alle.
He didn't hesitate to touch me though. Does he not know what I have is contagious or something? I mean, it makes my life easier at least. And speak of the goddamn devil. Hey there, Michael. It's been, what, a couple hours? Oha.
Ja, what is saying?
Hmm.
I found email in the chapel.
Oh. Neue Version.
Die Job will nicht gemacht werden. Verpasst, Alter. Doch. Besser, Alter, doch. Besser. Yeah. He had put his mask back on, despite the fact I had already seen what it hid. I couldn't imagine whatever he gained from wearing it was worth the obstructed vision, but surely he had his reasons.
One hell of an impressive window you've got here.
Geile andere Version vom Song.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty good guess where he was going with that train of thought, and I was entirely disinterested in humoring it. He would start off with something about how beautiful and aspiring it was, and mention the Archangel, then try to lead into...
You could make a freaking fortune of this.
I beg your pardon?
Dust doesn't come cheap, especially not the colored stuff. I was thinking if you found the right buyer, you could be rolling in doubt.
Does he have any idea just how sacrilegious that is?
Let me guess, you're thinking, does he have any idea how blasphemous that is? And now you're thinking, can this fella read my mind?
I'm not.
You should say what's on your mind. Otherwise, I'll just have to keep saying it for you.
So to disappoint you, but I'm not particularly talkative.
I'm not saying you have to yap on for days like me.
No yapper. Well, what you said was indeed blasphemous. I don't disagree with the sentiment.
Oh, really?
It's just chunks of glass arranged into shapes.
Bingo!
Bingo, digga.
There's no actual angel there, just a masked depiction of one.
Who are you, anyway?
Well, that sure came out of nowhere. And you want me to spill my guts without doing the same for me?
My apologies. I have not had the chance to hold a conversation in some time.
I see. And you're not obligated to say anything.
And you are not obligated to say anything if you do not wish to. I would not answer if you asked me the same.
Sounds like we're on the same page then. The more we share, the more uncomfortable it's gonna make it for everyone. So let's keep things the way they are. A nice cozy distance. I may be curious as well as all gets out about what the hell you're doing out here all alone in the middle of frick all, but I won't pry. This is when that's in the middle of frick all. Also das wie Maria getalkt hat in Door 8.
Ja, auch total.
Ja, bei Door 8 war sie more likable.
Ja.
Alright, I'll tell you what I can. I'm a nomad. Er ist ein Nomade hier.
Digga, Avatar.
Before I got sick, I traveled all across the lands. Had me a nice lute I'd strum as I trotted from place to place, singing songs and pretending I was a troubadour.
You were a traveler?
I could tell story of my exploits for days on end if you want to hear them.
I'll pass, thank you.
You're right to tell me you're lying, buddy.
I'd rather you listen to what I said.
War stories over there and then. Sounds like a date. Now, I've got a little question for you if you don't mind. Not about where you came from or anything, I promise.
Yes?
Why didn't you say anything about my face?
I assumed you were going to ask about the witch, not me.
Hard not to be curious, you know. Everyone's grossed out by it.
He makes a fair point. Even Morgana was taken aback by the sight. I can imagine he would appear monstrous to someone who's led a relatively normal life. And he's probably been subjected to less than charitable treatment for it. Which makes me wonder, how is he not drained and jaded by now? I don't understand how he can be so spirited. I have seen the kind of hardship that can be brought onto someone by their appearance.
So what you're saying is it's nothing new to you?
Correct. I did think it a little unusual, but nothing more. I understand your ailment is contagious.
What? You knew? Why did you help me then? Why didn't you hesitate to touch me? You carried me into the mansion, you handed me water, and all the while knowing you could be infected.
I couldn't figure out how to honestly explain my action. Part of it was me deliberately acting against Morgana's wishes, frustrated by her repeated insistence that I kill him. But the aura of death that hung over him was the biggest factor. There was something indescribably alluring about it. It's richtig cool in this one, by the way. All I say is, I would have left you if you were in good health.
So it was pity. You've got nothing to gain from helping me. I don't have any money, and I'm definitely not a hot babe.
I have no interest in money or women. I have no interest in women. Yeah. What about Mel? Oh, that would be nice. Would be wonderful. Wir müssen da noch Nelly eigentlich sagen.
Na.
Für den Joke. I didn't bring you in out of the goodness of my heart either. When you said you thought you were a subject for my observation, you were correct. You here predominantly because I wanted to observe a withered half-dead mummy of a man.
A mummy, huh? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm not just an ordinary guy.
Unfortunately so.
And here I thought you were only observing me because you didn't know about my disease. Never would have guessed it was the other way around. God, you really are one of the most bizarre fellas I have ever met. I was just going to not say anything, keep it to myself. Use this as a chance to stretch my wings, enjoy not just being the unclean for once. Didn't much care either way if you ended up catching it. So
The witch has declined your request to speak with her.
Haha. Not even gonna let me finish, huh? I'll take that as no apologies necessary then. Well, shit.
You have no reason to remain here. I left the bar off the front door for you.
Which was my last resort. I saw who knows how many doctors. Not one could do a thing.
Er braucht halt die Openomie.
Yeah. Well, as soon as you... Oh shit, Kapitel ist draußen.
Ah.
As soon as you saw me, the assholes tried to rob me blind with fees. As soon as they saw me.
Stealing them blind.
And he gets to be alive. What a sick joke. Wir müssen mal so die Szene nehmen und drüber synchronisieren, so auswendig. Ich kann die Szene Wort für Wort.
Brick by brick.
It'll cost extra because they're putting themselves at risk, they claim.
Ja, wirklich. Franklin hat's. Nur durch ihn ist es so nice.
Eben, ich hab Bock F1 vielleicht was, gell? Mit Damson Idris. So I traveled to other cities, towns, villages. Docs weren't gonna do anything. Maybe I'd have better luck with regional remedies. Everything from herbal stuff to straight up hocus pocus. No effect, any of it.
I have no interest in an apology or his life story. Why haven't I turned and left yet? Why am I standing here listening to him talk?
All that's left for me to turn to was God and the devil. But I figured God would just accept your lot in life. Shrug his shoulders and tell me to die in a ditch. But I wanted to live.
Even looking like that?
Damn right.
So what? Do you believe that if you tough it out once they...
Muss ich heißen One Day?
Ja. Ja, es muss One Day heißen. Das ist halt One day your valiant efforts will pay off. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Because it's all fairy tale nonsense.
You're right. The real world doesn't work like that. We just tell ourselves it does because it makes it easier to get through the day. The fact of it is, life's a big old swamp and no one's got a map. Get the hell out of my swamp, Shrek.
Ah. Oh, da muss man so Rewatch vorhalten.
Ja.
Ich hab da so lange nicht schon.
One wrong step and it swallows you whole. Schöne Microfilms draußen, du vielleicht auch mal schauen. Ne?
Ja, die gucken nicht im Kino.
Ja, schon klar. Wie du mir gesagt hast. Like a game designed by a goddamn 5-year-old. Warte, mach mal. The odds are stacked against you, but like hell, I'm gonna go down without a fight. I've got nothing to show for it yet, which is exactly why I'm not ready to kick the bucket.
You never will have anything to show for it either. You desire to make something out of your life will only serve to drag you deeper into the depths. The more you tell yourself you can, the greater your pain when you realize you can't. Sounds a hell of a lot like... Oh.
Sounds a hell of a lot like you're speaking from experience, buddy.
As I said, the witch will not be seeing you. You would do best to look elsewhere to fulfill your dying wishes.
You never know, bud. Tomorrow's another day. Maybe she'll be in a more accumulating mood then. But I'm not sure. I'm not gonna let anyone measly no get the better of me. No, sorry. I'm not gonna let one measly no get the better of me.
The witch Morgana is a sadistic woman. If she reveals herself to you, it will only be to torture and kill you.
Can't say death much scares me these days. It's knocking on my door regardless. And you can never say for sure.
Ja, außerdem, ja. Ich denke über Tortur.
Every woman's got at least two masks she switches between. Maybe she'll pick a friendlier one for me than she does for you.
You're a damn fool if you believe that. And she's a witch. Even if she would hear you out, she doesn't have the power to heal you.
Please.
Ruin and destruction is a singular desire.
I have to ask. All you want from me is to watch me die, right? So what do you have to gain from warning me about the witch? Does worrying about me run counter to your own wishes?
I'm hardly worried about you.
Could have fooled me.
I'm simply making a statement of fact. You would only be wasting your time trying to see the witch.
I haven't seen the proof, so I'm not convinced it's as much of a fact as you claim. Which means this conversation's going exactly nowhere.
Do as you please, I won't try to chase you out anymore. But don't come crying to me when my words prove true.
Much obliged, buddy. That's one less hurdle to trip over on my way to making a huge ass out of myself. Arse.
I would like you to promise me one thing, though.
Sure thing.
I leave the bar off the front door, so when the time comes, make sure you save enough energy to get yourself outside before you die. I don't want to have to clean up the mess.
You're a real treat, buddy. After a little chat, Michel gave me permission to make use of anything in the mansion. It still came with the condition that I stayed away from his room and didn't pry into his personal life, but that seemed fair enough, considering I didn't want him digging into mine either. In fact, I couldn't have asked for a better arrangement. After so long wandering, with food a constant uncertainty, having a roof over my head and meals at my convenience was heaven on earth. He had dried foods and smoked meats in his cellar, as well as bread, which, last I checked, didn't store for very long. But he never seemed to have left the house, so I did recall hearing some rumors on my way here. Whisperings of a shadowy carriage occasionally seen heading toward the cursed mansion. No one knew for sure what it carried, but there was a general consensus. Offerings to the witch, fresh sacrifices to keep her appeased, which was obvious nonsense. No one was sending shipments of virgins to supper to the witch. A basket of bread and other supplies now, maybe. Rumors have a way of taking life on their own, but I was so patently absurd I couldn't believe anyone bought it. That still left me with scores of questions though. Who was bringing Michel supplies and for what purpose? Why did he never leave? What was he imprisoned here for some iniquity? But obviously I had no intention of seeking out the answers. If we spent long enough together, I would probably find out eventually, but I knew damn well I didn't have that kind of time left. What point was that to lifting the curtains on someone else's life when the chances were I was going to croak not long after? I had no intention of repeating Pandora's mistake. If I was going to spend my last days here living with him, I wasn't going to get anywhere near that jar and risk making waves. I couldn't say whether or not that was the best strategy, but regardless, I made it through our first 2 weeks together well enough. And in those 2 weeks, it seemed like the two of us were talking more and more. I was standing before the stained glass window. It had become a routine for me to spend a few hours of each far too long day in the mansion's chapel. I wasn't so naive to think the angel would grant me relief, but I did sort of enjoy being in the presence of something so magnificent and undeniably beyond my reach. It was impressive in the same way as any other massively expensive piece of art. Now that I think about it, I never really experienced art when I was younger. Couldn't even tell the difference between what was good and bad. Maybe because I was just a kid, or because there was nothing there to appreciate.
Imean.
Oh, hey, sorry. Lost in my thoughts. What's the occasion? You almost never initiate.
I need your help with something.
Damn, is the sky gonna fall today? So what can I do for you?
I'm going to cover up the stained glass window.
Oh, you're gonna what?
It seemed unsurprisingly that was the last thing he had expected to come out of my life.
Oh.
And the incredibility was obvious even in his raspy old man's voice. I could easily imagine the expression he might be making beneath the mask, if he'd had a fat left to make it with.
Would asking for a reason count as prying?
No particular reason. I simply disliked the sight of it.
Well, that's a damn shame. I'd rather enjoy my time with it.
I seem to recall you saying it was nothing more than colored glass.
In a spiritual sense, sure. But do I look like I'm praying to it? No, I'm admiring the craftsmanship. It's one hell of a piece.
I see.
So I've pretty much got the thing memorized by now, so sure. Let me give you a hand.
Thank you, follow me. I gave Iman a quick glance and then darted off down the hall. I walked at a relaxed pace because, as much as he tried to hide it, he was visibly more sluggish than 2 weeks prior. And even breathing seemed to be an endeavor for him. As I walked, I made sure he was keeping up by the sound of his footsteps, but never once did I turn back to look. Facing away, I said, "You didn't have to come along."
Excuse me? You're the one who asked me to.
Don't you think it a bit inconsiderate to ask someone in your condition to do hard physical labor? No one with any common decency would do that.
Well, I guess that puts you in the clear. I'm just joking. Don't bite my head off.
I didn't say anything.
I wouldn't say I think it's inconsiderate personally. In fact, I really appreciate you not giving me special treatment of any kind.
So guy, das Hunter guy.
It's one of my favorites. You don't go easily on me because I'm sick, and you don't put me through the ringer for it either. I prefer it that way, us both on level ground.
If you say so.
I know I just said I appreciate you not going easy on me, but this is a bit much, don't you think? And holy hell, this room's 10 times mustier than the rest of the joint. I've got it. This is a really freaking roundabout way of murder, isn't it?
Yeah, moin. I told you that you didn't have to. You've also been looking down at an old weathered bundle of cloth that had been in the mansion longer than even I had. What a single piece. Large enough to cover the entire stained glass window and thick enough to block out its light. Fabric was far heavier than most people had realized, and something this thick and tightly woven was going to weigh a ton. What?
No way, a ton heißt so viel.
Yeah,
Nicht
okay.
eine Tonne.
I knew I wouldn't be able to carry it to the chapel.
1000 Kilo.
Yeah, power scaling. The chapel by myself. You're free to head back to your room.
I'll do it. I'm not begging out now. Besides, there's not a chance in hell you're getting this up there alone. It's not that long of a walk from here to the chapel, I think. Alright, let's do this.
Let's get it.
Das erinnert mich an OKW und Cruise sowieso.
Den IBM 5100.
Ja.
Here, minutes.
I need a breather. What? Hey, don't drop it with a warning me, asshole. And quit trying to act like you're hot shit. I can see you just as winded as me.
What do you know? I'm perfectly fine.
Someone is out of shape.
You're the last person I want to hear that from.
Hey now, at least I have an excuse. You're in perfect freaking health. And look at me, I'm half dead here. Before I got sick, I could run for 24 hours straight, no problem.
Yeah, mine. Alright, let's get going.
Are you deaf?
I'm not crazy.
Finally, we made it. I seriously thought I would die before we got here. That's one for the gravestone. Died carrying a bundle of fabric.
Ha!
Er ist ultra erschöpft vom Tragen gerade. Not trying to hide it anymore.
Hab ich doch gut nachgemeint.
Are you?
Not a word.
Oh God. I'm laughing and coughing.
Yeah, but that's... Where is this coming from? And please don't cough and laugh at the same time, it's disturbing.
Banana. Banana. I don't know, it's freaking hilarious.
What is?
You don't think this is the funniest damn thing in the world? Grown-ass man carrying a giant sheet through the dark, grinding
Grown-ass
himself
man.
to the bone so they don't have to look at the pretty stained glass window. Like, for real, are you hearing that? It's the stupidest thing.
I cannot say I find it amusing myself.
Well, you're lost, buddy. Let's finish this up then, shall we? I assume the puppet isn't nailed down, so we can use that to get some height.
He seems to be enjoying himself. I can't imagine enjoying much of anything in that kind of position. And this time, Parkin. And oh shit. Very good. And so I'm not sure I'll ever understand him. The way he's being so upbeat. And it's kind of bringing me down. Why should him acting cheerful have any effect on me? I buried that emotion long ago. What are you doing here exactly?
Huh? Haven't we been over this? I want to ask the witch.
You know, fool, I don't need to tell you that the witch isn't real. For the past 2 weeks, I let Imeon explore the house as he pleased. He'd likely seen everything but my chambers by now. It should have been obvious there was no third person living here. I was the only one who could hear the witch's voice. I was the only one who could feel her presence. All the servants my family had sent over the years were proof of that. She may have existed for me, but from his perspective, there was no meaningful difference between that and her not existing at all. Remember what you said in the storeroom?
There's not a chance in hell you're getting this up here there alone.
If you still believed the witch was real, if you still believed there was a third person living in this mansion, you wouldn't have said that.
Was ist, wenn er aber glaubt, es ist so, wie es wirklich ist, dass sie nur so keine physische Form hat?
I know, man. What do you want from this place? Somewhere to die? Do you want to make this your final resting place?
Haha.
Ha ha ha.
Hahaha. Someone's feeling talkative today. Hahaha.
Die lachen sogar von Sakamoto. This isn't funny.
It's comfortable here. There's a warmth to the darkness. It doesn't reject me for being impure.
Impure?
That's what everyone says about me. I have no say in the matter. I have an impure disease, so that makes me impure. I think it's story time. What do you say? This time we'll go into a little more detail. My life was set. I had dozens of friends and a wonderful, loving family. I didn't bother with the family business, instead spending my days wandering. But on one of my trips, I got sick and I got scared. So I rushed back home, wanting nothing more than to see my family and friends again. But when I got there, No one recognized me as me. They called me a demon, impersonating their immune.
A demon. He's saying the Bollinger family has no need for a demon child. That you're a mark of shame on our name. So he's going to have you executed.
They came to the conscious that the real Emil was still off traveling. They wouldn't accept me for who I was. Just because I didn't look like what they thought I should.
What does it have to do with my question?
Basically what I'm saying is, there's not many people who are willing to see the truth.
Ja, die Frage ist aber auch wieder so, der Klassiker ist, was erzählt er jetzt? Ist das true? Oder eine Unwahrheit?
Du meinst wieder so ein Twist hier?
Er weiß. The truth. What to believe?
Die Wahrheit? Was ist mit der Wahrheit?
Ja, der Wahrheit.
That I am who I say I am. That I am Immune, not some evil Doppelgänger. Das ist so cool, ein Doppelgänger ist so ein Wort, das man auf Englisch sagt.
Ja.
The only person who sees me as an ordinary fella is you, Michel. I do not agree with Father's decision. I do not want to lose you. I don't think you're a demon child.
Don't misconstrue apathy for...
Weißt du, Apathy, was heißt?
Ja, genau.
Das heißt so, wenn man so etwas einem egal ist. So. I don't care why. All that matters is that you do. You see me for who I am. And that's the most amazing feeling.
I haven't done anything to warrant that reaction. And if there's one thing I can tell you, it's that it's foolish to rely on anyone for emotional support. Don't blindly put your trust in me and don't expect anything out of me. Please.
Like I said, I don't care why. Aha.
As I stood there in silence, immense love echoed through the chapel's walls. He then climbed onto the pulpit, which was probably brutal on his joints through a though he didn't show it, crossed his legs and looked up at the glass angel. His arms were thin as twigs, his voice raspy as an old man's, his hair devoid of all sheen, his entire body deteriorating. Yeah, oh shit. And this time. So, even the most callous of men would cringe at the piteous sight. Cringe, digga. Yet he sat there with his head held high, a smug smirk on his face. For split seconds, the thought crossed my mind that if the name Michel didn't belong to me, but to him instead, he would have been able to love, to just love of that painting. And as soon as I caught myself, I froze.
Back to your question, what do you think? Why do I want to stay here even though the witch doesn't exist?
I knew what he wanted me to say, and I knew that I couldn't. I hadn't done a single thing to deserve that from him. What he felt was disproportionate to reality.
Silent treatment again? You figured it out though, I know you have. That's your answer. There's your answer. If I were even half what I used to be, I'd love to drag you out of this house kicking and screaming. Travel far and wide together. Find a place you feel more at home than anywhere else in the world. Be nice, wouldn't it?
Leave me out of your fantasies. He could only think that way because he'd led such a cushy life. That may have come crashing down when he got sick, but only someone who had been well up would ever think there was hope to be found outside. And on top of that, he was simple and honest enough to admit it. I'm just jealous of him, that's all this is.
Take a seat up here on the pulpit with me. Feels like you shoving your ass right in God's face.
I mean,
I wish I tried this sooner. It's freaking incredible. It really is.
Perspektive von Debüt?
Hm?
Perspektive von ihm?
Yep, perspective from Imian. Between the two of us, a guy who probably couldn't overpower a rabbit, and someone on death's damn doorstep, covering up the stained glass window was a grueling task. That day marked the turning point in our relationship, though. It was an insignificant change, something I doubted anyone but us would even be able to notice, but it was the degree that mattered. There was a real shift in the air between us. Michel didn't seem to be so precisely wary of me anymore.
Persistently.
Sorry. And I started to feel more relaxed in his presence. I didn't have to prove anything to anyone here, in part because he didn't pry into my personal life, but also because my time was so limited, I didn't have any reason to keep up a front anymore. The biggest factor, though, was that no one here knew who I was. Your deep perspective? From time
From time to time, Emil and I would have supper together. I wasn't going out of my way to spend time with him, but I didn't particularly mind it either. I had no reason to. We stayed out of each other's partners, and we both knew it was a temporary arrangement. As his disease will worsen, his once exasperating vigor started to seem more and more obviously like a facade.
So,
Facade. Das habe ich irgendwann mal in der Grundschule gemacht, als ich Detective Kong geschaut habe. When he spoke, it was like I could hear the remains of his fading soul spill out with each gravelly syllable. It was getting difficult to make out what he said at all. Yeah, gibberish. But still he persisted to act.
was?
Yeah? But still he persisted to act as though nothing was wrong around me. So I acted in kind, making sure not to touch on his deteriorating condition.
You know, we never did get around to talking about my adventures.
Nobody's stopping you.
You could just be honest and say you don't want to hear them.
You wanna.
You want to hear them. I can see in your eyes, you love adventure stories. Yeah, also ich schon. Not only that, you want to go on some yourself.
That could not be further from the truth.
Haha. Alright, let's see. How about the story of the battle in the Northlands? About 5 years back, I was traveling the lands far north. Having snowfall covered the land in the winter, stretching as far as the eye could see, and with the arrival of spring, it would melt and rejuvenate the earth. It was a lot colder up north than it is down here, but the lands were fertile nonetheless. And naturally, where there's fertile land, there's people fighting over it. Two countries, one to the east and one to the west, vied for control over this particular area. I watched the battle from the safety of a nearby hill. The theater for this battle was a large plain, the sea situated to the north. Separating the two was a river flowing from south from the sea. It wasn't a very deep river though. Both horses and three could cross it, albeit with some difficulty. The Western Army attacked first. They outnumbered and were better equipped than the Western Army, their soldiers well trained and commanders sharp. Planning and organizing allowed them to cross the river with ease. And once they were on the other side, they stormed the Eastern Army. Now, how do you suppose the battle went?
I wouldn't make for a very good. Also, it wouldn't make for a very good story if the Western Army simply went on to defeat the Eastern Army. Because you're asking, I presume the Eastern Army had something up their sleeve?
Jeez, you're the worst kind of person to tell a story to, buddy. Play along at least, would ya? Ja, macht hier gute Calls.
Ja. Ja,
Andererseits-
so pre-watched, weißt du?
Ja, andererseits, wenn ich so... Ja, ist ein guter Call. Und das ist ja auch kein krasser Call, yo.
Bro thinks he's him. I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm not a child listening to a bedtime story.
Well, you're right about one thing. I would have framed things differently if the Western Army was gonna win. Maybe go into detail about how advanced their equipment was, how strong their soldiers were, name drop their commander or two. But no, the Western Army did not conquer the Eastern Army. In fact, they were both defeated.
Oh?
Yep, thanks to the intervention of a third force.
May the fourth be with you.
Now, where do you suppose this mysterious third force came from?
I don't know, man. Wir ziehen keine Satz lately. It was the Danes. Was ist nochmal Dane?
The Anon.
Ah, immer die Dänen, Alter. Naja, keine Ahnung.
You've gotta be kidding me, you suck at this.
Given what you described, two sides divided by a river flowing from sea to the north. The larger Western Army crossing over it to take the Eastern Army by surprise. The logical conclusion is that the third force would travel down the aforementioned river. Neither side had ships able to sail such shallow waters, so they didn't anticipate an attack from the river. The Danes to the north, however, have numerous ships capable of exactly that. That's why they're feared as the Lord of the Seas. Lord of the Seas. So.
Yep, that's exactly right. Thanks for skipping all the good parts and going straight to the answer. A fleet of ships with dragon heads on both ends sailed down the river, and the Western Army crossed, quickly making land. After the cross. Danes are fearsome warriors and big boys at that. They take both armies from behind, taking them out in no time. And the land fell into the hands of the invaders from the north. Then, once it was all over, I hauled ass right the hell out of there.
I have only read of the Danes' fearsome prowess in books. For you to witness an actual ambush?
Jealous? See, what did I tell you? You're all about these adventure stories.
I am not crazy.
I am not in danger, Skylar. Well, I sure am. The Danes, they can travel both shallow waters and the open sea. The whole world is at their fingertips. Everyone just thinks they're savages. They don't see their potential. I wonder what's out there across the sea.
Jenseits des Meeres.
What wondrous world awaits beyond these waters? I bet it's heaven on earth out there. A land unlike anything you can find traveling on foot.
so long as man infests the surface, you will find no heaven on this earth.
I knew you weren't a people person, but hot damn, you're worse than I ever imagined. You can't make it through life on misanthropy and cynicism alone. Someone needs to teach you how to dream, buddy.
What to believe? Dreams are just that, fantasies never to be realized.
Dreams are freedom. You know,
Gut Judah. Digga, der ist echt cool, die mir.
so. Weiß ich an wie Ruffy.
Also ich sag dir ehrlich, der kommt in meine Top 10 Morgana-Charakter.
Top 10?
Ja. So, weil dann, also ab der 7 ist da nichts mehr.
Eben, probably. Schon,
Ja, mal schauen.
Doesn't matter if you're sick or a sinner, infirm or exiled, you can go anywhere inside your head. You have complete and absolute freedom in your dreams. Yeah.
All empty hopes and dreams do is erode the spirit. I gave up on mine for a reason.
If I were in good health, I could have asked the Danes to take me on one of their longships. Bring me somewhere far, far away from here.
To the west.
Yeah. Somewhere not here. A place where everyone's equal. No poor and no rich to oppress them. Ja, wirklich, Finnland. No one being judged for their looks or
Ja,
their
schon, ob
family.
so scheiße ist wie bei mir.
Ah. And the family they were born into. I could have gone on another adventure. Brought you along this time. Found our paradise. I'm pretty sure
I'm pretty sure the only way you're getting on a longship is a captive to the Danes.
Remember what I said about dreams like 3 seconds ago? Put that silly realism into a box and lock it up. You can dream whatever sort of crazy, outrageous nonsense you...
Armeen? Ist er jetzt hier am Sterben?
Don't worry about... Okay, so back to... story time. After I escaped from the Danes, I crossed paths with this incredible bard. This one's gonna blow your mind, I'm sure.
I'm sure. I didn't tell him not to push himself. He knew his own condition far better than me. I didn't have to tell him continuing was a bad idea. My role was to be quiet and listen. Amir then sung for me a song he supposedly learned from the bard.
I could sing way better than this back then.
He said with a strained laugh before beginning the raspy ballad. Every note melted into a sort of indistinct flat bass, but it was still somehow pleasant to listen to, perhaps because I could imagine what his voice may have sounded like in its prime. Ja, er ist nicht mehr in seiner Prime. A bright optimistic...
So wie Lewandowski nicht mehr in seiner Prime ist.
Ja, Digga. Anyways, a bright, optimistic, unwavering, powerful voice. All the more enchanting because it existed only in my imagination. As I listened to him sing so much that I'd kept sealed away, slowly crept back to the surface. In what, Chloe?
Was denn?
Huh? That what I had kept away. I felt like I was being whisked away into a far distant world. By the tales of his exploits in the bard's song with Emian, his hand held out, waiting to take mine. The words
Let's head off to a new world, buddy.
On his lips. But his time on this earth was drawing to a close. Those fantasies would fade into nothing.
Oh, mal wieder Morgan. Ganz vergessen, dass sie auch am Start ist. You aren't seriously going to make friends with him, are you? I thought you were better than that.
Halt die Fresse, Morgana.
Or do you think you'll get something out of this? Well, you're sorely mistaken. You've forgotten what you truly are, and gotten it into your head you can be equals with him. Your heart brims with bright light, yet here you are, grasping at companionship, knowing full well it's but a fleeting illusion. What do you have to gain from forging a friendship with him? Hee. Oh. Hee. Hey. Already tired of me, are you, my dear? Very well, I shall take my leave. Despite what they may say, I'm a very kind-hearted girl. To those whose fates are sealed, that is. Hey. I pray you're blessed with wonderful dreams tonight.
That night, I had a dream.
Wir so am Sailen ist mit Imion.
Oh, yo, see. Not a nightmare, nor a dream of the past. A warm, pleasant, slightly bittersweet dream. Da kann aufwacht, der dude is dead. I hadn't had one like this in quite some time. Oh, sind Sie bei Vinland? An endless field stretched out before us. Ey, wirklich so geile Felder sind einfach.
Ja. Was richtig nice seit er von so dem Dream und so erzählt. Finde ich.
Ja. Richtig geil. We pushed our way through the sea of waste high grass, pressing onward toward ever distant horizon. A spring breeze whisked past, caressing my cheek. At my side stood a man, beaming as bright as the sun. He had hair of deep scarlet, like the color of the setting sun. His eyes were unflinching, his lips showing his strong resolve. His chest was smooth and muscular. He had, and he had a musky scent. It was my first time seeing his face, but I knew exactly who he was.
Not much farther now.
The man spoke.
Our paradise is just up ahead.
His lips curled up. It was a smile that might look condescending on any other face, but on his it seemed perfectly natural, not a trace of disdain. In fact, anything but a cocky smirk would have seemed out of place, which made reality that much more bitter.
Here on the other side of the sea, in this beautiful land, no one will think less of us for anything. Ich kann Screenshot von der Line machen so.
Kann ich. Hab gemacht, aber es lädt noch, oder so.
Kann ich weitermachen, oder?
Ja, schau mal nach. Ja,
Okay.
manchmal wird nicht angezeigt irgendwie.
If someone happens to find out about you, no one's gonna make a big deal out of it. And no one's gonna be afraid of my disease.
I was well aware of the fact that it was a dream,
Ja, ein Klartraum.
and I thought it was I thought it a rather cruel one. Imion was right. I did love adventure stories. And I did want to go on one of my own. This was the very first thing I had wished for since I was a child.
The very thing.
So, the very thing. Two men sitting out together, free from obligations on a journey to see the world. Exploring the unknown and sharing that experience with a dear friend. But it could never happen. Not so long as I was who I was. And not so long as Emil was sick and on the verge of death. It was a dream we could never make come true. No matter how badly we wanted it, no matter how hard we fought for it. It wasn't an entirely impossible dream, though. There was one part of it that could become reality. The two of us becoming friends. there was probably enough time before he died for me to get close enough to tell him how I really felt. That I just wanted a friend, that I wanted to be able to laugh and frown and get upset like an ordinary guy. Like him. Ah. There may be time, but that's not enough. I had spent too much of my life isolated. I had almost irreversibly adapted to this solitude.
Irreversibly.
Breaking through that shell would be no easy task, especially not with my unspeakable secret hovering over me. The very fact of my nature, which had transformed me from the namesake of an angel into an abominable demon that didn't deserve to live. Something I couldn't tell anyone, couldn't let anyone find out, which meant that a normal friendship was impossible for me to form. And I knew that far too well.
Oh, jetzt sind wir Imion Stream. That night I had a dream. Not a nightmare, nor a dream of the
Boah, wie
past.
cool, Alter, ne?
A warm, pleasant, slightly bittersweet dream. Du glaubst halt einfach den gleichen Traum.
Kann sein, aber es könnte auch sein so...
Dass es kein Traum war, sondern...
Nee, es kann, also das meine ich. Es könnte sein, dass... Also weil er hier so im Sterben ist
Ja.
und so... Dass Morgana vielleicht so was gemacht hat.
Ja.
Also ein Dream haben, wer weiß. Weil sie ist ja im Grunde ja so gut, wie sie selber gesagt hat. So. Hat ja, wie nennt man das?
Es ist ja so, wenn man so Klartraum hat, dann kann man so im Traum, weißt du, was man träumt. Und dann so, yeah, I hope they unlock the server update. Weißt du? Dann so zusammen. Das ist in SpongeBob-Folge so. Da ist so Patrick und SpongeBob, sie träumen so beide und im Traum treffen sich so.
Weil, also ja. Das Morgana hat ja immer so Blut und so gegeben, einfach so und nie sich so beschwert. So.
Bro, ich hab's mal geschaut, die Playtime so allgemein irgendwie so von Fata Morgana auch so.
Ja.
Weil so fast gedoubled oder so die Playtime oder mehr.
Wir?
Ja, oder kein Wunder so, weil wir labern hier so die ganze Zeit. Aber ist egal, das ist Teil der Experience.
Mittendrin ist schon oder?
Bye.
Welcher Jugend?
Das ist hier fettes Let's Play, Freunde, aber nimmt den Live auseinander, ne?
Ja.
Für diese
absolute geisteskranke Rasurung, Alter.
Ja.
Ja, der Bräune.
I hadn't had one like this in quite some time. An endless field stretched out before us. We pushed our way through the sea of waist-high grass, pressing onward toward the ever-distant horizon. A spring breeze whisked past, caressing my cheek. At my side stood a man with a somewhat forlorn look on his face. He had long, silver hair that fluttered in the wind. A darkness...
Silber? Das ist weiß.
Ja, es ist auch weiß.
Okay.
Es ist ja auch in...
Ja, hat Getoki weiß Haare oder?
Ich würde sagen, Getogis Haare werden auch manchmal Silber genannt.
Ja, aber bei ihm ist es aber auch Silber. Ja.
Ja. A darkness was visible beneath the pale red of his eyes, and his lips were furled into a half scroll. He was tall enough that I had to look up at him. The man furrowed his brow as if to scorn the shining sun for daring to be brighter than the candlelight he was so used to. It was my first time getting a good look at him. Might have gotten some of the smaller details wrong, but he was still very distinctly the Michel I knew. I pointed toward the horizon and said, "This is where our paradise awaits." He didn't seem to believe we would actually find anything, but still he joined me on my endless journey with nary a complaint. So all it takes is bringing him into my dreams and drag the cynicism out of him. Huh, I thought. Then with a laugh I said, "We would make pretty good friends, don't you think?" His eyes swam for a few moments before he finally muttered a response.
Many years ago, I dreamed of having something like that.
You gotta be a little more specific.
Like my two brothers.
Keep going.
Someone I could share anything with and could do the same with me. Someone who understands me without need of words.
Haha. The classic image of a friend. Two guys who've always got each other's backs.
Michael crossed his arms and turned his head away. Oh, so sorry.
Michael crossed his arms and turned his head away. He might have even blushed, but I couldn't see it for sure. I had mixed feelings. Though mostly I was glad to hear he felt that way, and I wanted to make the dream come true. We'll be just like that. You'll see, buddy. Another breath of wind blew past. I was pretty sure I was smiling. The way I always did. The way I always pretended to. My self-confident, utterly vacuous smirk. If we really got to know each other, there was no way we would ever be friends. True friendship was impossible to achieve between us, and I knew that far too well.
Digga.
Das ist so krass, das zu denken, das ist passiert alles für mich, bevor er dann...
In seinen 10 Jahren da.
Ja, bevor er... Wir wissen nicht genau, wann es passiert ist, aber bevor er halt...
Ja, wir wissen a few years mindestens.
Ja.
Weil er hatte gesagt, a few years.
Bevor dann die Welt zu ihm kam.
Boah, ich sag dir ehrlich, also es kommt jetzt noch drauf an, ob das jetzt so seine Conclusion war von Imion oder
Ja.
ob noch ein bisschen was kommt.
Mhm.
Aber ich glaube, der ist in meinen Top 4 Charakteren.
Also ich würde safe Michel, Giselle, Jacopo und Morgana über ihn.
Ja, für mich ist Michel, Jacopo, also die Reihenfolge davor,
Mhm.
Michel, Jacopo, Giselle und Morgana. Aber ich finde den so unglaublich geil.
Der Film,
Der könnte für mich auch noch auf die 3 kommen.
okay. Also
Also,
ist in der Top 5 safe.
ja, safe. Also,
Ja,
also auf jeden
ich
Fall.
überleg gerade.
Vor allem Digga, der ist seit kaum nicht mal ganz 2 Stunden hier, weil
Ja.
wir haben Laban auch so
Ja.
und Mama war ja nicht direkt da, so, ne? Crazy. Ja, okay. Ich bin jetzt gespannt, ob er ihn suchen geht und er ist so dead draußen am Liegen, wie er es ihm gesagt hat, so, ne? I awoke in darkness in a house where the time of day held no meaning. The same sight awaited me every morning. Before I had grown fully accustomed to a world without light, the uncertainty of it had occasionally morphed into fear. My instincts reacting, I presumed. Danger was harder to perceive in the dark after all. But once I had gotten used to it, the darkness felt almost compassionate with its indiscriminating embrace. And now I was more stable here than I was in the light. This morning was unusually pleasant, though. All my problems were still problems, my curses still curses, but it felt like I had managed to break the surface and catch my breath for the first time in who knew how many years. Eben hier so, who knew how many years. Perhaps I could thank the dream I'd had. I rolled out of bed, grabbing the candlestick off my nightstand. With the remains of the mostly melted old one, I lit a new candle and headed for the door. Next on my list was the fireplace. I tried to make sure there was always at least a small flame in it. Yo, but as soon as I stepped out into the hall, what are you doing there? I found myself face to face with Imion. Although that wasn't an entirely accurate description, as he was slouched against the wall across from my door.
Morning, Michel.
I couldn't help but cringe at the sight of him, still insisting on keeping up his everything's alright act. What are you doing?
Seems pretty obvious to me.
Well, it isn't to me. Naja, Sonntag hier, glaube ich, ne? Geil. You're clearly in no condition to be walking around.
It's come.
What has?
My time.
The light from the candle fluttered about, slightly offset from the trembling of my bony hand. But immune, he was visibly shaking, enough that I probably could have seen it even without the dim candlelight. Not out of fear or cold, but simply a physiological reaction to his condition. His breath sounded like puffs of wind, the whoosh of a bitter winter morning echoing in the hall. His arms and legs were so atrophied that if I didn't know better, I might think him a small tree withering away in the fierce cold at first glance. My gaze slowly drifted downward, stopping at his splayed arms. Blotches of red were visible on the palms of his hand. Did you cough that up? I almost reflexively made to draw nearer, but he stopped me after only one step.
No, stay back. Don't touch me. You might catch it.
We've been living here together, breathing the same air. If I were going to catch it, I would have already. The fact that I haven't shows that it's not an infectious disease.
Maybe, maybe not. But either way, you shouldn't touch the blood. You know, as well as I do, that blood is unclean. It carries everything in our bodies, even diseases. You may be able to catch it from the blood, even if you didn't from anything else. Fair point, and the sound again banging.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd drop on by, say my goodbyes.
I stopped myself before finishing the sentence, realizing just how foolish it would make me sound. I was the one who had told him to leave when he knew his time was up. But that was back then. That was just how I felt when he first showed up.
If I'm real lucky, I have maybe a couple days left. I've been hiding it, but it's been hard to even stand these last few days.
And you did a terrible job of it. Although, I didn't realize you were in quite such bad shape.
Well, I guess I get a passing score on my acting then. Haha.
How can you laugh about this?
I'm in a great mood.
That's ridiculous! You can't be. Just drop the act already.
It's no act, but I'm serious. I'm feeling great. I had a fantastic time. And what better way to show that than with a nice laugh?
Looking down on this man laughing as death crept closer, I didn't feel pity or sorrow or anguish. I was angry. My chest clenched and my stomach lurched. Oh, aggravating. There was something else there too. Some other way I could describe it. But I didn't know what the feeling was. I couldn't draw it to the surface. It was aggravating, frustrating, sickening. Those simple negative emotions were what I kept falling back to. I wanted to block it all out. Emir's deteriorating body, that comforting dream, my own circumstances, this dark mansion, the whole world.
I had an amazing time here with you. Seriously.
Stop it. You're just getting sentimental. Letting your emotions cloud your memory. I've done nothing for you. Think about your times before you got sick. When you were with your friends and family. Think about the time you spent traveling. Then you realize how insignificant your time here really was.
It was all a lie. Oh,
What?
was du gesagt hast, ne?
Yeah.
I was never a traveler. My name isn't even Imion. Und dann sagt er
Ja,
nicht.
er hat echt Fake-Namen gemacht, so wie Ding.
I never went to the Northlands, and I never saw the Danes. Even what I said about having a ton of friends. All lies. Here's the truth.
Ich hab's gecallt, ne?
I look like I came from the slums now, but I was born into a decently upper-class family. My father and brother all owned several estates. I wasn't traveling when I got sick, but at home. For a while, I was kept locked up to keep it under wraps.
Yo,
Mhm.
so wie er.
I spent my life doing everything asked of me for them, and they turned on me the second I caught this damn disease. The servants I thought respected me, the brothers I thought loved me, they all wanted nothing to do with me anymore. And before long, they started saying it was punishment for my transgressions, that I was cursed to transform into a hideous monster because I deserved it. Real swell family, huh? The disease hadn't progressed this far then either. So I still looked, well, half decent, like, at least. Hoffentlich erfahren wir seinen echten Namen auch.
Mhm.
A pretty damn good looking guy, if I do say so myself. So I used that to manipulate one of the maidservants into helping me escape. Nice. W. Reese.
Nee, Bruder.
And that's how my life was as a nomad really began.
Oh, Digga, Sonic's geil.
So while I was something of a traveler, I was carrying some pretty big luggage along with me. Everywhere I went, I was treated like garbage. The Imion you met, brimming with self-confidence, was all an act. I'm sorry for lying to you.
Why?
What did I pretend to be someone I'm not because...
No, I don't care about that. Why did you say something sooner? Emir's story, his life, was painfully similar to my own. I'd been called a demon, mocked and insulted, made out to be a madman, and then locked away where no one could see me. Everyone I had thought to be on my side turned against me. You should have told me! Cracks began to form in the thick shell I had spent so long building around myself. Sharp claws dug their way through the flesh of my heart, which I had thought long since numb. Thick blood seeped from within me. It was absurd. If anyone here was hurting, it was Amir. Es könnte auch echt sein, dass sich die Begegnung mit ihm so, seine Shell so aufgebaut ist und nur deswegen so mit Giselle überhaupt so hat, so was echt cool ist, wenn man sowas denkt.
Denkst du, dass man, wenn man nochmal das Spiel spielt, so Hinweise erkennt, dass er mal davor jemand hier war?
Er hat halt nur so mal erzählt, dass hier auch Leute vorbeikamen,
Ja.
so Travelers.
Okay, aber nichts Spezielles erzählt.
Ja, ne. Und dass jemand, dass auch Leute begraben liegen, also safe sehen wir noch wie in...
Oder denkst du auch, dass das hier so sich die Macher gedacht haben? Weil das wurde ja ein bisschen später gemacht.
Ich weiß nicht, kann schon sein.
Obwohl?
Weil es war, also man hat ja auch bis diesen 10 Jahre Gap gehabt und dann hätte man einfach filmen können mit coolen Sachen.
Ja.
Ja. Boah, ist das aber wirklich geil. If I had known. If I had known. I could have done something? Was that where I was going with this? That I could have told him about my own past and we could have bonded over our suffering? No, that wasn't how it would have gone. If Emir had told me what he had been through right off, I would have seen so much of myself in him that I'd have likely detested him for it. I wouldn't have wanted to get to know him better. I wouldn't have wanted to even see him.
I suspected pretty early on that you've been through something similar, that you weren't here of your own will, and from your mannerisms that you came from a noble family. Which is why I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want you to think that was why I was here. I didn't stay because we both led tragic lives. That's not why I found it so comfortable here. Everything about how I presented to you was a facade. Which is precisely why I was able to be myself. I can't tell you how wonderful it felt for you to accept me for me.
I didn't.
You didn't have to do anything. That was enough to set me free.
I could feel sweat trailing down the back of my neck. Trailing. I couldn't follow along, couldn't make sense of what he was saying. My heart was wavering, but I couldn't put any of it into words. What were you supposed to say to that? I hadn't the first idea. And with the way I had lived my life, the way I had closed myself off, I never would know.
So I wanna thank you. Goodbye, monsieur.
Emil let out a long sigh. Like his nerves had loosened all at once now that he had said his piece. He then climbed to his feet, using the wall for support, let out a couple muffled coughs, and started off down the hall, leaving me behind. Wait, Mion! The shackles around my spirit were on the verge of coming off. Everything I'd worked so hard to bury was bubbling to the surface. The man I had killed in order to survive in this empty darkness was being infused with life anew. I was opening myself up. Wait, I lied too! Or I mean, what I said then isn't true now. I don't want you to leave anymore. I don't care if you've only got a few days left. You'll last longer here than you will out there.
So what? You're gonna take me in and nurse me?
Exactly. Neon.
It's damn tempting, but no thanks.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why? The first person I'd ever met who I could have possibly called an equal, a friend, was trying to withdraw from my life. Forever. Something inside me cracked, and something inside me formed anew. Morgana! 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 I know you're listening.
Michael?
Cure him, please!
That's enough, Michael.
The witch isn't just a legend. She doesn't have a physical form, but she lives here, in this mansion, and she's somewhere nearby, watching everything.
Really, it's okay.
Believe me!
I do believe you.
Mion,
It's okay. Thank you.
why are you so insistent on leaving? Didn't you want to talk to the witch?
I just think now's the best time to call it quits.
But why?
I do feel bad about this for what it's worth. And I'm seriously grateful to you too.
That doesn't tell me why.
Sorry. I want you to take what you're feeling right now and keep it with you.
You... what?
Seeing the person in yourself will help you see the person in someone else when you next have the chance. Whoever that is, you take him by the hand. And get out of here. Go somewhere you both want to be. You may not find paradise, but you'll have a life.
What on earth are you talking about?
Alright, now I'm seriously on my last legs. Can't even fake that I'm okay anymore.
Mion.
So long.
Wait!
Michel. I think we made pretty good friends, don't you?
And with that he marched off down the dark hallway. It was almost unbelievable how sure-footed he seemed compared to only a few moments earlier. And then I realized what it was, his final show of self-confidence. I could have easily caught up to him, but my feet seemed to be rooted to the ground. Maybe because I knew that even if I stopped him, it wouldn't stop me from losing him. But because anything I did would amount to nothing. I slowly dropped to my knees. The candlestick spilled from my hand, the flame flickering out, a heavy darkness scraping the hallway. I covered my face and let out a sharp, bitter groan. He had lived here less than a month. Alter, nur einen Monat. We barely knew each other well enough to call ourselves acquaintances, never mind friends. There was no reason for me to be feeling this emptiness. But telling myself that didn't make the pain go away. The pain of having something dear snatched away from you. A pain I had never, ever wanted to leave to experience again. A pain I had never ever wanted to have to experience again. I thought I could hear the witch cackling, whispering that opening myself up only made me vulnerable. That bringing that dying man into my house was only ever going to leave me feeling all the more lonely. That I always belonged in darkness, not light.
Thank God he left the bar off. I've barely got enough in me to push open the door. Oh,
Yo.
is that really how you want to do this?
Willst du beilesen oder soll ich, Morgana?
Beide. Okay. Oh, it's you. Well, color me surprised. I figured you'd be with Michel. Hehe. I'm here to see you off for him. You mean you decided you'd get more entertainment out of me? Hehehe. The girl with long, braided hair stood before me. A smile spread across her lips. Her form was vague, almost a silhouette, and I couldn't make out any details, but I still knew exactly who she was. This wasn't my first encounter with the witch after all.
What?
Ja, ich dachte mir schon, er hätte gesagt, it's you.
Ah.
Was sie so kennt. I'd been able to see her and hear her voice, since shortly after arriving at the mansion.
Yo, wie cool.
When I told Michael that I believed she existed, I wasn't just saying it, I knew. You're quite a seasoned liar. Making out like you're coming clean, and then replacing one set of lies with another. You can still go back and make it right. Tell him the truth, and you'll have my wish. Think about it, my dear.
Was wollte sie, was er aber dann nicht gemacht hat? Sie wollte selbst, dass er auch jemand blut oder so.
A few days after taking up lodging at the mansion, the witch appeared before me. She spoke in a pretty but almost childlike voice, explaining how unusual it was that I could see her. Because evidently, no one with a trace of hope in their hearts is capable of seeing me. Oh.
Yo, wait, ach so.
Man kann sie nur sehen, wenn man keine Hope in der Heart
Yo!
hat. Das ist so die Erklärung.
Ja, wenn sie es so sagt, was aber cool ist, weil Michi kann sie nur hören, er hat sie nie gesehen. Und er kann sie hören und auch sehen, weil er halt so, er weiß nur, dass er stirbt bald. Okay. So, er hat keine Hoffnung mehr.
Ah, und bei Giselle war es auch so, dass sie immer Hoffnung hatte, weiter irgendwann mich zu treffen.
Ja. Und da hat sie nur gehört. Cool.
They can't. Achso, nee, warte. They can't hear my voice or even sense my presence.
Ja, I don't know.
Aber das mit Ziegen nicht stimmt schon, weil man weiß es ja nicht. Oder
vielleicht kann sie es selber zeigen,
ja.
I don't know.
Ja. The despair that cursed through Michel is what served as a catalyst for my resurrection.
Ja, ich glaube, es ist so, Giselle und Michel können sie halt hören, weil sie so mit ihr verbunden sind. Also er hat sie resurrected und Giselle ist halt so ihre Mate geworden.
You're not here to be healed. You want to put a curse on someone, don't you? That's right. Hey, your eyes don't lie. I'm honestly kind of flawed right now. First, the Witch of Legend is real, And second, she's not even human. Her mortal could neither cause miracles nor cause curses. Fair enough. So how do you know what I really wanted? It was obvious, my dear. All that murky filth swirling beneath your smiling visage is like a window directly into your soul. Sounds like there's no hiding. Oh, sorry. Sounds like there's. Ich hab's gerade so gelesen wie Morgan. Sounds like there's no hiding anything from you. So I can just drop the act, huh? Tell me you at least can't hear everything I'm thinking. And what if I can? I would appreciate a little bit of privacy. Hey, fear not, my dear. I don't have the ability to read your mind, no. But you should know that the world as you living see it, and the world as I see it are very different things. Emotions such as seething animosity and desire to curse, as well as fragments of your memory, are all laid bare to me. I normally wouldn't bother sparing anyone a moment of my time. I have a mission to accomplish, and I would like Michael to accompany on the long journey to its completion, so I don't have time to distract myself with anything else. If you were indeed nothing but a needlessly optimistic fool come in search of miracles, I would have done everything in my power to chase you out. So I can assume the fact that I'm still here means you've taken at least something of an interest in me then. Indeed, for you were broken enough to come seeking. Then I'll get straight to the point. I want you to curse my family. I realized one of those damned Castanias.
Das ist ein Familienname.
Oh mein Gott! Ist von der Familie von this married off to, du weißt schon, Dollingers.
Wait, what?
Das, was im Bild gezeigt wurde. Die Mom von Georges und Didier hat das Bild gezeigt. Und das ist dieselbe Familie.
Yo, dieses creepy Smile.
Das heißt, die in dem Bild ist
Also,
mit ihr verwandt.
Ja, aber er hatte keinen Bruder, er hatte keine Schwester. Hat er so gesagt.
Na gut, aber die Familie, der Name auf jeden Fall, das ist die Castanias.
Yo.
Hey. That's my final wish. The last thing I want from this life. Normalerweise ist dir durch die Details mehr aufgefallen als mir.
Ja, bei den Cutscene, no.
I gave my whole life for my family. Sacrificed everything. And they repay me with derision, hell. Making me into a demon. Ja, er will sie dann cursen. Und mich wollte nicht, obwohl sie es verlangt hat. I'm here, sick and miserable. When no one gives a rat's ass. Michael schon.
Yeah, not yet.
They need to experience the living hell I had to endure. I can't go in peace until they have. It would be my pleasure. Wait, seriously? What, do you not believe me? No, I just didn't think it would be that easy. On one condition though, I will offer my sincerest wishes for your family's utter devastation, so long as you offer me something in return. Now that sounds more like the wish I was expecting. So what do you want from me? My life? A sack of gold? My resources are a bit limited, but let's hear it. Michel's spirit. Oh. Excuse me? I told you I wanted Michel to accompany on my journey, but too much of his worldly concerns remain for him to be of any use to me right now. He still racks his mind over trifling drivel. That stone-faced Michel, he has actual worries. It's all an act, for now that is. I want you to crush his spirit, transform him into something more fitting for my purposes. And then I will make your wish mine.
Das hat er obviously nicht gemacht.
Ich würde auch sagen, dass ich es nicht machen würde. So, you know, it's a friend.
Ja, hier kennt er mich noch nicht so. Er hat ja gesagt, das Stone fällt Michael.
So, ich dachte gerade, das ist alles, spielt gerade alles danach. Das ist alles Flashback gerade.
Nein. Das ist ja Flashback, er hat ja gesagt, so shortly after I came to the mansion.
Okay,
Was gerade im Moment
Ja.
ist, da als Hintergrund das Tor.
okay. Ja, ich dachte, wir sind gerade hier, als er am Rausgehen ist.
Hier waren wir, aber da hat der Flashback ausgelöst.
Okay. That sweet voice makes what you're saying, asking all the more frightening. So how do I go about it? Start by using your head, my dear. It was worth a shot. That said, I will give you a hint. You have at your disposal everything you need to become exactly what you desire most. It didn't take long around me to figure out what the witch meant. There was one thing he very clearly sought, and was something I was presently capable of making myself into. I had everything one would need to slip through the cracks in the wall and around his heart. I was on the verge of death. I didn't know a thing about him or his personal life. And I was a man. A man. Fucking
Oh. Ja, aber wirklich. Ja.
Michel seemed to have trust issues when it came to women. He had no interest in a lover or a romantic partner, but a peer, a male friend. I guessed Michel had probably been subjected to countless betrayals over the years. Yes. His mother, his father, his siblings, loved ones, but probably never at the hands of a friend. I doubted he even had a real friend before. So Morgana's proposal was for me to become his friend and then betray him. There's still time for you to go back in there and reveal everything. To see your wish to fruition. You could even ask for a miracle instead of a curse. To rid what ails you. Don't bother. I'm not interested in any of that anymore. I'm just going to go back out into the forest and die. So nope, you won't get me to go back there. I don't understand. What on earth brought you to this decision? I stopped caring about getting back at my family. That hatred was what had kept me going for so long. It was what had driven me to wander in search of the cursed mansion. I had, in service of it, feigned getting frantic with Michel. Until at some point it stopped being fake.
Oh mein Gott. Doch, ergibt doch Sinn vielleicht gerade. Ich habe mir nämlich gerade noch gedacht, so, wegen dieser Familie. Und das Bild war ja, wie sie aussehen könnte. Und es kann sein, dass halt diese Tochter, also Amy, erst so ein bisschen, also ich weiß nicht mal, ob ihr Familienname so weit gesagt,
Ja.
aber halt, ich denke einfach mal, du als Wesley, dass sie halt so halt, wie sie da jetzt war, als Kind jung ist und dass sie halt erst geboren wurde, nachdem er durchgezogen ist.
Warte mal. Ja.
Wir wissen auch nicht genau, es wurde nur gesagt, so, die ist im Moment jung, aber wird, so sieht sie in Zukunft aus. Aber ich weiß halt nicht, ob ihrem Familienname bekannt ist. Ich will jetzt mal nachschauen nach der...
Okay. I had found something more valuable than petty vengeance, and I wanted to live the rest of my life and then die for that. With a bit more time, maybe I could have even told him that he'd pulled me up from such a dark place, and then, were it within my power, I'd like to have done the same for him. But that was a dream beyond my reach. He would have to remain in his darkness for a while yet. I can understand losing interest in cursing him, but you ignore the other part of my offer, that I could wish for a miracle. Perhaps you don't believe the cursed witch can perform miracles, but you would be mistaken, my dear. In life, do you know what I was called? A saint. Well, you're a saint with one hell of a mean streak.
Also ich habe gerade nachgeschaut und sie heißt anscheinend Jaimo Joberts, also nicht diese Castellinger-Familie.
Okay.
Also ist hier debunked.
Na gut, aber es ist trotzdem dieselbe Familie. Wie
Ja, schon klar, was da war halt.
das wollte gemeldet.
Ja, aber wir hatten ja nur als Idee gehabt, dass
Ja.
das halt Ami ist.
My, now that was hardly called for. I'll pass on your miracle too. Can't imagine it comes free of charge when the cursed had the price. Ich glaube, wir sind auch ziemlich nah am Ende von diesem.
Ja, er ist ja hier am Sterben.
You want me to go in and tell him everything, right? What do you have to lose? What possible reason could there be for you to hesitate? That should be obvious, even to you. I want him to think of me as a friend. That is what he wanted after all. A peer, a male friend. So if I'm going to go, I want to go out as that. You would give up your chance at life for something so utterly meaningless? I don't care how stupid you think it is. I didn't have enough time to pull him out of his dark place. But if at least he remembered me as a friend, and that had some positive effect on him, however insignificant, I much preferred that to anything the witch was proposing. Just don't you go blabbing once I'm gone. I can't make any promises, my dear. You say a word to him, and I'll curse you. My heavens, are you picking a fight with a witch?
Die Eier.
Do you honestly believe you can curse me? You bet I can. I could well turn into a witch just like you once I'm dead. Yeah, you very well could. You have all the makings of a fine witch.
Oh, mein Arsch.
But you can rest easy, my dear. I won't be saying anything to him about you. Because you're too inconsequential to be worth mentioning again.
Digga.
I beg your pardon. At the end of it all, the only one Michel truly needs is me. What he wants is a curse, and I'm the only one who can provide it. You pretended to be his friend for a few weeks, but in a year's time that memory will have eroded away into nothing. Your death will amount to nothing.
Sorry, ich muss unterbrechen, aber I guess wir werden Amions realen Namen nicht erfahren. Weil er hat ja gesagt, das ist ein Fake-Name.
Yeah. All you did was cast the light into his isolation, and sooner or later, it'll transform him into an inhuman spirit who lives only to spread curses, much like myself. Now that I can say you're wrong about. There's more care and understanding in him than you realize. He hides it, but it's there. Don't fool yourself. The whole world isn't going to bend to your whims. Morgana. There was nothing left I could do. I couldn't leave any more of a mark on him, nor could I free him of her grip. But someday, someone would appear. Man, woman, friend, lover, it didn't matter. Someone would enter his life, take him by the hand, and lead him out of this cursed mansion. Someone would drag him out of his darkness. Well, you turned out to be quite a disappointment. Everything I once saw in your eyes has been purified away into nothingness. Mark my words, all your hopes will be in vain. And you can watch from the afterlife, helpless as everything I said comes to pass. Ja, nee, Morgana. Das ist nicht passiert. And I'll be praying from the pearly gates that you're wrong. Well, this is where we part ways then. Farewell. Ah, Noemi, sein echter Name.
Ja.
Cool. Until our souls cross paths once more in the boundless sphere of fate.
Immer dieser Satz.
Und die Door closed. Oh, sehen wir noch, wie er stirbt?
Maybe.
Da steht immer noch Imion da, aber.
Ja.
Warte mal. Ist es einfach sein Name umgekehrt? Gehen wir noch zurück ins Backlog?
Nee, jo.
Gehen ins Backlog?
Nee. Imeon.
Ja, es ist genau sein Name
So.
umgekehrt.
Imeon.
Ja.
Noemi.
Noemi ist einfach so umgekehrt.
Geil, Digga.
Looks like this is as far as I go. Can't see a damn thing anymore. Sehr kreativ von ihm auch, ne?
Ja.
But hey, it could be worse. I feel like I've been set free. Like all my shackles have been loosened. I found one thing to appreciate about this disease. It gave me the one chance in my life to be myself. Hey, Michel. We're not that different after all. You were my first friend too.
Boah,
My real name was Noemi Castagna.
das hat er.
Imeon, the name I went by, was just my first name spelled backwards. But truth be told, I was pretty fond of it. Anything else I might have come up with would have probably given away my gender straight off. Nearly everything I told Michel was a lie. From claiming I was a guy to the story of my escape.
Jo, also wie ich mir auch schon gedacht hatte, er ist kein Typ.
I hadn't used my good looks to trick a maidservant into helping, but instead manipulated a maidservant. Das macht auch mehr Sinn.
Ja, ich habe mir schon gedacht, so, dass er, weil er hat ja selber gesagt, so, I'm not a hot chick, so. Und das, ich habe irgendwie so erzählt, das klingt so als Satz, als wäre er zwar, also er,
ein Chick, aber nicht
sie,
hot.
aber ein Chick, aber nicht hot.
Ja.
Wegen dem Gesicht und so. Und ich weiß genau, was die Worte waren, du weißt schon.
Okay, was want to imagine das maidservant manipulated. But looking back on it now that it was all over, I felt like the fake me, Imeon, was more me than the real thing. I'd always felt constricted my whole life. Nothing but barriers from the day I was born. Boah, echt nice character, you know? Wirklich safe, top 5. I loved playing music, writing stories, running and riding a horse. Swinging my sword, anything that gave me some sort of freedom. Oder ich feiere einfach immer Characters, die mit Freedom sind. Very fine. But I was only allowed that until I was about 10 years old. At which point my life became training and everything I needed to be married off to some noble. Sie war's.
Ja. Also,
Ja.
Imeon, ich fällt mir einen anderen Namen ran, ich hab in meinem Kopf. Noemi.
Ist das Bild gewesen in der Zukunft.
Girl. Ja, deswegen. Ich hatte, genau als es da gesagt wurde mit dem Girl, dachte ich, vor allem, weil das war ja auch vor 10 Jahren.
Und weil er keine Schwester hatte.
Ja,
und
er
dann
hatte keine Schwester.
Sie ist.
Ich hätte halt nur gedacht, entweder wird danach geboren,
ja.
oder so.
Yo!
Junge, ich hab grad so Nulli rückwärts gemacht. Scheiße.
I still remember those days vividly. Sitting stone still, staring out the window while I had my portrait
Es
painted.
ist echt immer das Gleiche in Fata Morgana. Also, mit so, ja, wir gehen etwas, aber es ist falsch, alles ist falsch.
Yeah. I caught sight of a large bird taking off to fly north, watching it flap its heavy wings. Oh! I fantasized about riding the bird off somewhere far away, to a beautiful, boundless, lush land no one had ever seen before. I would found my own nation, and I would be its first citizen, Vinland. It would be a land without unfair rules and customs, a land where everyone was equal, man, woman, young, old, a smile on everyone's face, and you would be free to choose who you spend your life with. There would be no nobility, and there would be no slaves, and in this land, I would finally be able to be my true self. I would finally be able to find my true self.
Ja, on its mission to be a true warrior. Oder her mission, eher gesagt. Junge. Oh.
Michel? Michel?
Das haut like.
Oh goodness, what are you doing in here?
Oh, mother.
Still looking at that painting, are you?
Yes, there's something about it.
You agree with me, don't you? It's a wonderful proposition, but your brothers never seem to want to listen to me. We'll have to return the painting to the Castagnas, and after they went through all the trouble.
Indeed.
But all that aside, it's time for supper, Michel. We're celebrating Didier's return tonight, so don't you dawdle. You need to be there and show him how much you love him.
Yes, mother. I will be right down.
Oh, that sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Don't keep us waiting.
It's been bothering me. Why I couldn't take my eyes off the painting of the Castagna girl. But I think I figured it out. That forlorn look in her eyes. There was more than resignation in those eyes. A trace of longing lurked within them as well. She was looking out at the faraway world, distant, not only in physical location from our own, but in time as well. A boundless dream dwelt in her heart. I found myself slipping into her place, fantasizing about that same distant land. A place where I was allowed to be myself. And if by some chance I were able to make it there, would I find you there, Noemi? Deswegen hat sie nicht den Namen gesagt, irgendwie zu Michel, weil er es dann gecheckt hätte. Crazy. I think we made pretty good friends, don't you? Wow, schon am Anfang so, ne? Digga, ich Gänsehaut. Those were his last words before disappearing into the darkness. The time together was brief and they knew nearly nothing of each other. So could they, in fact, be called friends? Could you be friends with someone so nearly a stranger you didn't know where they came from or who they truly were beneath the surface? Had they known, though, were they aware of each other's inner selves, never would they have been able to become friends at all. We made pretty good friends. Boah. It was precisely because the two knew nothing that they were able to know one another. A friend by another name. Boah!
Completed ASSENTO DELE. Boah, es war viel mehr, als ich erwartet habe. Ich dachte, es wäre nur so eine kurze... Also,
Junge, also ich sag dir ehrlich, wenn man das als Door ranken würde, ich würde sagen 7, 5, nein, 7, dann das, dann 5 für mich.
Das war echt nice.
Das war
jetzt,
auch also jetzt,
kurz und knackig.
Ich
auch,
würde sagen, jetzt im Moment, in diesem Moment, Michel, Noemi, Amion, dann Jacopo, dann Giselle, dann Morgana.
Mal schauen,
Jacopo hat ja noch eine ganze Story.
Kann noch gepusht werden durch so.
Ja, natürlich. Ja. Boah, Digga.
Vorne ist auch perfekt, ne?
Ja, ist schon klar. Boah,
richtig.
Ey,
und auch so dieser Twist war so richtig Twist, wo man denkt, oh, wer hätte drauf kommen können. Also,
ja.
Also das feiere ich immer, wenn man so Twist hat, wo man so, oh, natürlich, weißt du?
Digga, fettes Let's... Boah, Digga, was ein fettes Let's Play. Das längste Fata Morgana Let's Play, aber wir wollten dann einfach die ganze Story in einem Ding machen. Ja, Freunde, ich würde sagen, nehmt ihr Like-Button auseinander. Damit starten wir diese Reise rein. Ich mache das nämlich hier als erstes Let's Play, also ich lasse die so. Ja. Als Subs soll ich so lernen. Und ja, Freunde.
Ja, ich hatte einfach so richtig so dieses Dreaming, so far away. Da konnte ich mit so richtig strong resonaten, weißt du?
Ja, so Goated, Finnland. Auch immer solche Freedom-Charakter.
Ja, geil. Okay.
Ja, Freunde. Nimm das Like-Button, auseinander, check den Podcast für Streams ab, aktiviert die Glocke, abonniert den Kanal. Ja, Goated für mich. Mein zweitlieblings-Door, wenn man es so nennen will, keine Ahnung. Chapter. Ich muss noch mal überlegen, aber maybe sogar auch mein Lieblings-Ever, aber 7 ist halt so geil.
Ja, nee.
I don't know. Nee, 7 probably, aber ja. Anyways. Dann würde ich sagen, Freunde, sehr geil. Hey. Nee, und Wiederschauen, Freunde, und
reingehauen.
Ciao.